can turn this into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel
good. Good morning and welcome to Positively Milwaukee. He was the first African-American to head up a Major League Baseball franchise as president of the Milwaukee Brewers. He's also a former Marquette University basketball star and a global businessman. But Ulice Payne just added another milestone to his storied career, coming to the rescue of NFL hopefuls who gathered in Alabama for a tryout for a chance.
Go! Good, stay low, move your feet, move your feet, move your feet. Good.
This is a combine for NFL hopefuls from historically black colleges and universities, funded by former Brewers president Ulice Payne. Why did you decide to do this?
Yes, it was what I call, Carol, what we call my Sabona moment. Okay, Sabona is the traditional Zulu greeting that says, I know you and I value you.
When the pandemic canceled NFL combines, hopes of young players were dashed. Payne stepped in to pay.
You give time, talent, or treasure. Sometimes it's time. When I was younger, I had a lot of time, little talent, no treasure. As you move down that path, right, you have less time, a lot more talent, and start to get a little treasure. Well, I think about high school players, too, who all of a sudden their senior year, there were no games. And then there were no all-star games. Then there was no tryout. So despite the fact they did everything they were supposed to do, stayed in school, stayed eligible, stayed physically fit, COVID just wiped it out.
And here opportunity is born.
And what we try to do, Carol, is set up the combine like the NFL will have their combine, which is 2 days. The first day is really off the field. It's about cognitive testing, emotional stability, and personal interviews.
On the lineup, life skills, hoping to prevent young men from fumbling their future.
When you walk in, do you say hello to the guard at the desk, right? Do you look him in the eye? When you check in the hotel, there's someone in the lobby watching. Do you say nice things to the bellman? We also spent time on developing your brand. You know, honestly, I didn't think about my brand. You know, back in the day, your name wasn't on your jersey. You had a number, right? That was it.
Players even got an awards banquet, organized and emceed by Andrea Williams from Jammin' 98.3.
This is the first one ever. You recognize that, right?
2 HBCU players were recognized for academics and athletic achievement. They got an award named after Payne's uncle, the late Ernest Pappy Ross. He led a National Black College Championship football team at Morris Brown College.
Growing up around my household, we always heard about Uncle Pat. And whenever he'd come home, that was big news because he went 1,000 miles away, to a college. But he inspired me, Carol, as I listened to him going away and what college life was about. And he got there, but for the scholarship, he wouldn't have been able to go to college.
Also passed on to these men, lessons Ulice Payne learned from his late parents.
You have a responsibility as being a gifted athlete that the NFL said is draft worthy. Use the God's gifts, right? If you have the gifts, you got to use them. 2, especially if someone gives you the opportunity to use it. And then lastly, remember that someone is watching, that it is about something bigger than you. And my parents taught me that too, so I'm just going to try to pass the word on like I asked you to do here. People realize we're all part of this together, and we're touching Milwaukee, and we're touching those who we don't even know.
Payne knows only 5% of athletes make it to the NFL. He wants students to tackle thoughts of life outside of football.
And then we talked about financial literacy. You know, I mean, what good is it making money if you can't count it?
And Ulice Payne knows firsthand talent from black colleges should not be overlooked.
We gave an HBCU guy a chance. He had a 14-year career in Major League Baseball. So those are reasons why. Because I remember people were questioning me like, oh, you're a basketball guy. You don't know what you're talking about. But he could play. All he needed was a chance. And we hope to give these guys a chance.
As for any potential NFL stars here?
We got word right away from the scouts. One of the wide receivers did a 4.29 40-yard dash. That is like world-class, NFL-class timing.
I'll be good just knowing that I went out there and I gave everything I had.
He says the young men were eager to learn and grateful for the support.
And I think too, Carol, what we learned by talking with the gentleman, they wanted to know. It's interesting, where they come off as tough, but they were 20 years old, 22 years old. But before we were done with the weekend, we found that they were thanking us for not forgetting them. And for me, Carol, I was done.
Euless Payne hoped to impart positive examples gleaned from his parents, like a dad who never complained even though he worked 2 jobs. Euless admits he talks to his late parents daily and felt emotional during a recent conversation. What do you think your parents would say, Euless, about
Well, I talked to him the other day and I cried. I've got those tears of joy, and it's allowing me to do my part. That's all they told me. Junior, it takes all kind of people to make a world. He said, but just do your part. Don't worry about somebody else. Do your part. So I felt good for the opportunity to do my part.
Well, you have to admire Euless Payne. He even gave the young men his phone number so they can keep in touch. And it's wonderful to see that kind of a commitment. Well, maybe you've always wanted to live in a mansion, or you've just driven by this historic home and wondered what is inside. Well, this story is for you. James Groh gives us an impressive Milwaukee tour of a home that was just sold.
It's really one of the most iconic homes in the city of Milwaukee. It was built in 1896.
This home across from Lake Park at 2743 Lake Drive is incredible. It's 11,000 square feet and has 7 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and 7 fireplaces, an outdoor pool and hot tub, plus it has 2 kitchens. The current owner is a lover of music and made sure to have the ultimate surround sound setup.
There are 123 speakers in and outside the home. It's the most I've ever seen in my 40-plus year career.
The home was on sale for $2.45 million, but an undisclosed offer was recently accepted in the past couple of weeks. What's interesting though, according to Zillow, this home was bought for $640,000 in 1997.
If you walk up to the home, you'll see all these beautiful little gnomes, and they were all hand carved.
I can't forget to mention the wine cellar that can hold more than 5,000 bottles, and the 19th century billiards table on the top floor.
It has a billiard table that was built in 1894 and has been completely restored.
If the deal goes through, this Milwaukee mansion will have just its 5th owner since 1896.
I don't know about you, I can't even imagine it, but it is a stunning home, perfect for entertaining. And think about the dance party that you could throw with all of those speakers in that house. Thank you, James Groh, for that. Well, we've got much more ahead for you coming up. Great stories after the break, helping veterans get the help they need, all part of a major renovation project. Welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. You may have heard of John Boy, a Wisconsin wheelchair basketball player who has already won gold and silver medals. Now he's getting ready for his first Olympic experience. Delaney Bry has his inspirational story of patience and overcoming odds.
Like most of us, John Boy remembers exactly where he was when sports came to a halt in 2020.
We were at our national tournament in March out in Wichita. And we went out to dinner as a team, and we're all watching like the news, and the NBA shut down, and March Madness was over, and like they were canceling everything. We were like, man, we are the last sporting event going on in the United States right now.
Discovering wheelchair basketball at the age of 11, John has competed all over the world, winning gold and silver medals as a member of Team USA. But Tokyo 2020 was supposed to be his first Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of momentum going into it, and it's exciting stuff, building up to an Olympic year, and it's 3 years of training to get ready for it. But I mean, it's taking a lot of kind of mental prep to get ready for the next year, because really, I just think of it as a longer runway for 2021.
A longer runway isn't usually a problem. However, John was playing and planning on competing through a shoulder injury.
I had cortisone shots over the last year, kind of get me through. I kept trying to train, but I was like, if I keep going at this, I'm going to go from 100% to 90% to 70% by the time 2021 comes around.
Undergoing surgery to be physically ready, John received an unexpected yet positive mental side effect.
When I had my surgery and I'm not able to go to the gym or lift a gallon of milk to pour milk in my cereal, it really showed me how much my identity is in basketball.
Currently rehabbing at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, John still has obstacles to overcome.
End of May is when we have scheduled to have our team tryouts. Now they're keeping together the same 17 guys that made the first cut last year, and they're going to cut it down to 12.
Not shying away from what lies ahead, John knows what he is capable of.
I'm entirely confident in what I've done and also what my teammates and my captains and my coaches continue to tell me.
And together, he knows exactly what Team USA could achieve in Tokyo.
Being able to make it back to that stage, and for a lot of those guys to repeat a gold medal, hopefully, that's going to be the world to us and kind of a turning point in, even though it's the Olympics, but at least somewhat of a normalcy in our lives. We get to compete at a high level. That's what we want to do.
And it's a lot of hard work to compete at such an elite level. And we are wishing Boy all the luck as he takes his talents to Tokyo this summer. Homeless veterans and their families in our area are getting the help they need. Mary Jo Ola shows us how a massive renovation project is making a huge difference.
The Victorian Gothic Old Main building here on the Milwaukee Soldiers Home campus has a new but familiar purpose, more than 150 years after it first opened to house Civil War veterans.
Here in 2021, we're fulfilling the mission of putting veterans and families into a home who are either homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. So this is a great win, not only for the city of Milwaukee, but for the state of Wisconsin.
Ed Garza is president and CEO of the Center for Veterans Issues. The center worked with the Alexander Company, the housing authority of the city of Milwaukee, the VA, and several other groups for years, restoring 6 buildings to serve Wisconsin veterans by providing 101 housing units. The doors to the $44 million project opened this year, and since then, qualifying veterans have been moving in.
It's just beautiful to watch and to see them smile and give the thumbs up when they walk in their apartment.
It was surreal. It was hard to believe, honestly.
Nick Dietzler is one of the veterans who calls this place home.
It's so quiet. I get the best sleep after having slept in some pretty not desirable places. It's pretty awesome.
The Marine, who struggled with homelessness while transitioning back to civilian life, says opening up about his story to his care providers at the VA made all the difference. Nick now works at the VA, which is just steps away from his home. He believes this moment is launching him into the life he's always wanted.
It's just crazy how sometimes the doors that you have been praying for so long to open, all of a sudden, suddenly you just find yourself walking through.
We want to make sure that we show our gratitude for the veterans who have raised their hand to take an oath to serve our country. And when there is a time of need, we should be coming together as Americans to make sure that they have what they need.
Yes, and they deserve that, that's for sure. And that new home for veterans also has a fitness center and a community space and even counseling services, but only about half of those units have been leased out, and organizers are working hard to reach more veterans. We have more information for you. If you are interested or you know someone who could use this, go to tmj4.com. Fighting for lung disease one step at a time. The 13th annual Fight for Air Climb is next month. And if you've done the air climb before, you might be surprised at some of the changes this year. Brian Goddard explains.
Huffing your way up these interior stairs might be what comes to mind when you think of the Fight for Air Climb. But your climb will be different this year. It'll be at American Family Field.
For the first time ever, they are both climbing up and down the stairs, so that's going to be new for them.
Lizzie Covington with the American Lung Association says you can raise money by climbing the 1,400 steps on the lower level, or you can take it all the way to the top.
They can take around 417 additional steps to the terrace level and do a portion of those steps for a total of 1,824 steps.
That's the longest climb the Lung Association has ever put on in Milwaukee. But Executive Director Megan Cordova says that's not the reason the event was moved.
They're just excited to be able to do something in a safe manner, spatially distanced, socially distanced, while wearing masks.
Only 100 people will be allowed in the stadium per hour. to make sure everyone can stay safe. They'll go through a health screening before they come in. If that still makes you uncomfortable, try the virtual participation option.
We really want to meet people where they are, wherever you feel like making a difference.
Don't feel limited to just stair climbing. Cordova and Covington say you can walk, hike, bike, or even do yoga. Make sure you share it on social media.
So we're excited to be able to roll them in and incorporate them in the fun of the event day.
Things may be different this year, but leaders with the Fight for Air Climb say it's going to be just as fun as it always is.
It just gives you this energy and excitement, and you're feeling good about thinking about summer and, maybe getting back to that potentially new normal.
Looks like the perfect venue. And a big focus for the money raised this year is the COVID-19 Action Initiative. Now, this is a $25 million investment from the American Lung Association to address coronavirus and future respiratory pandemics. To sign up, all you have to do is go to tmj4.com. And we have many more reasons for you to smile coming up after the break. Get the story behind this giant Tin Man. It is turning heads in Walworth County. Welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. Being out of school because of the pandemic is hard for so many students, but parents of kids with neurodiverse needs are even more worried their children are falling behind. Julia Fellow tells us how one mother turned that concern into a place where children thrive.
Clutching her favorite Simpsons characters, Morgan Rahman shares what she loves most about school.
Playing math games.
The 16-year-old lives with autism. Morgan's teacher tailored her lessons to her interests.
The family tree, she compared her family with the Simpsons family.
Bart's full name is Bartholomew Jojo Simpson.
The joy you see in Morgan's eyes was created by a mother's love. Laura Rahman knew traditional school was not right for her daughter to learn.
The room was too busy, it was too loud, too structured, couldn't work at her pace, couldn't slow down.
So she created this nonprofit school in East Troy called Bloom 360 and moved her financial business, Vista 360, right next door. 4 years later, the school has 7 students and will double in size by next fall.
I think with COVID and with families going virtual, it opened the eyes of a lot of families on what their kids need and what they weren't getting, even in person.
Morgan's peers have also made huge strides.
We are not racing to get anywhere fast. We're going to meet them in that moment where they are. We're trying to help heal past trauma that they've experienced in other environments. We spend a lot of time on that social emotional piece. Once they're comfortable doing something, you can challenge, and then that's how they're going to grow.
A 360 approach of nurturing each child to help them all bloom.
And I like that. Bloom 360, though, is not just for school-age children and teens. Staff there also work with students up to 21 years old, and obviously a great program for great futures, and we do need that. You cannot miss a new roadside attraction in Walworth County. A man there built a 40,000-pound statue out of scrap metal. James Groh talked to the artist about what inspired him.
It's the Tin Man. Officially, I would call him the Tin Man.
It's 40,000 pounds and so tall you can see it from about a mile away.
Why'd you do it?
I'm not sure, you know.
It all started when Robert Stewart, who lives near Lake Geneva, got this McDonald's Officer Big Mac head. Officer Big Mac was a popular figure in McDonald's commercials in the 1970s.
We spent 2 years welding on him on the ground. We actually built him laying on his back. The main piece of the body is actually a water tank out of the old Pabst Brewery.
The Tin Man, along with the Minions he and his daughter Mariah made and painted, have become a popular roadside attraction in the area.
We've had a couple stop actually specifically for the Minions and take a picture with the Minions.
Overall, it's just something fun and cool on the side of the road.
Stuff to drive by, stuff to look at.
If you look closely, you'll notice some details like a robin on the statue's shoulders, the belt buckle, and even a wagon it's dragging. And if you were to think Robert was satisfied with this 40,000-pound statue, you'd be wrong.
We have plenty of stuff to build another one.
Cute. I guess one man's junk really is another man's treasure, and that statue really is a treasure that makes most of us happy. We have even more reasons to smile this morning. Now check this out. A new mural in downtown Milwaukee, and it has a positive message that plenty of us really need to hear. The You Are Beautiful project is on North Plankington between Kilbourne and Wells. That's near the Milwaukee River. The owner of the property brought in a Chicago artist to paint the mural, and I have a feeling this will be a hot spot for people looking to take a picture for an Instagram post. Well, your selfie might be a masterpiece, but even more famous works are headed to our area. 300 of them. Beyond Van Gogh, an immersive experience, will be coming to the Wisconsin Center in July. But you do want to act fast to get those tickets, because in Chicago, this event sold out months in advance. And take a look at the newest resident at the Milwaukee County Zoo. This male Bactrian camel was born to parents AJ and Stan. Now, right now, no name for the new youngster, but the baby's already a healthy 94 pounds, but it's going to get a lot bigger, about 7 feet tall and almost 2,000 pounds. Now, right now, you can't see him, but if the baby does well and thrives, you'll be able to see him soon in the outdoor camel yard. That will be fun to see. And a reminder, join me every Wednesday for Lunch with Carol Meekins, a Facebook Live event where we meet people who inspire, enlighten, and engage us in ways that really make Milwaukee better. Every Wednesday at 12:30, check it out on our TMJ4 Facebook page or the Positively Milwaukee Facebook group, and you'll see some fascinating people that we have met for lunch in the past few weeks. I'm going to be back with my quote of the week. Don't go away. Remember, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. That's a quote from Dale Carnegie. And every week, I love leaving you with a positive message that makes you think. It helps you get your Sunday and the rest of your week started on the right foot. And during our challenging times and the pandemic, we have come very far already, and we have to remember that. And I hope you can remember always stay positively Milwaukee and have a wonderful, joyous week.